Okay, welcome. I will call to order this special meeting of council today. We respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Algonquin Highlands is located on Treaty 20 Mississauga territory and in the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa Nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. We also acknowledge a historical shared presence of other Indigenous nations throughout the area. We recognize these original Indigenous inhabitants as the stewards of its lands and waters since time immemorial. Approval of the agenda.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Dennison, second by Councillor Shortreed. Be it resolved that the August 18th, 2022 special council meeting agenda be approved.
All in favor? It's carried. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest today? There better not be. We'll be in real trouble then. I have no remarks to make. We have two pieces of business. The first one is for the Maple Lake landfill. So we'll bring in Adam and Melissa. Hello, Adam and Melissa.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I think everybody's good. I think we just have this one item to discuss, and there we are, screen's back. And it's Melissa's report, so I assume you're taking us through it. Are you, Melissa?
Sure, that would be
Great, thank you.
So as we had presented sort of at the meeting last week, we were over budget in all of our bids for RFP PW 02-22. So we have gone back and negotiated with the lowest bidder to try and achieve some savings in the contract for the construction work. And we have achieved some savings there as they're outlined in the report. Part of that was a proposal to be able to provide fuel for the equipment used in the construction. Because the township has a lower fuel cost than the contractor did, so we could achieve some savings by providing that for the work that was going to be completed, and it would be a fixed amount for a fixed dollar as outlined in the report. So about $74,000 in savings were achieved, and included in that are a couple of items where again the township has better procurement agreements than the contractor was able to secure. So asphalt and seeding, we anticipate being able to do those at lower cost than the contractor was able to, and so have taken those on for procurement there. Work is spread between this year and next, and so costs as well are spread between the 2 years. So that would leave no anticipated budget implication for this year because we did have a substantial budget allocated to the project already, but some additional costs for 2023, and just needing to make a decision on next year of exactly how those would be funded. So we'd be looking for approval of the entire project, but then how the funding would be established for the remaining budget to be determined next year.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for your work on this. I think we have, as a council, have noted a number of times that prices are not the usual, and that we're not alone in the municipal sector in putting out RFPs and getting in prices that are higher than anticipated, and that's not due to poor internal assessment. It's the way of the world out there. Prices are going through the roof and all kinds of things. Going forward, we do need to be attentive to that and estimate a little higher going forward. I think that's a conversation for a different day. So the offer, or the proposal before us, the three of us today, is about keeping this project moving. It's not uncommon for us to split projects over 2 years. The work was going to happen over 2 years anyway. But looking for thoughts from Councillors Shortreed and Deputy Mayor Dennison on the approach here. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I mean, it's a project that I think we've got to go forward with, and accepting what you're saying about pricing and some of the challenges that we're seeing. I mean, I'm more than ready to say, move forward with the project. I've got to say I'm a little bit disappointed because it looks like all the effort to try and find savings was on our part, not on the contractor's part necessarily.
Mhm.
So that's a little bit disappointing. A couple of questions. Will we be able to, or is there a mechanism in place where we can monitor their fuel use?
Go ahead, Adam.
Sure, I can speak to that. Yes, of course, we are looking at two options right now. One, either supplying a tank at the site for the contractor to use, which would be monitored through our system, allowing us to track how much fuel is being put in the tank. The second option that we have available is through wind fuel system that we have currently set up at our lower shed. We can also track it through that system. If we can't put a tank on site and fuel their equipment through there, they can come to our location and fuel through our system, and all of that would be tracked. And that's all has been confirmed with our deputy treasurer as well, and our treasurer, that either way works and we can track it safely and efficiently.
It would seem it might be, if it's as simple to put a tank on the construction site, it might be better so there's not as much traffic going back and forth and actually more use of fuel.
Actually, that would be that's what we're trying for, and we're just working through that right now, is whether or not we can get a tank on the site and have it all hooked up to the power that's there. There's just a couple challenges we have to get through first, but that's the route we're trying to go for.
The other question I have is one of finance, and I'm assuming that this isn't a problem, but there are no lame duck issues with us committing the next council to part of the contract. Okay.
Yeah, because we're not lame duck today. Yeah. And I think because the project was initially going to be occurring over the 2 years, all we're doing is moving some consideration to the next budget. Adam, go ahead.
So just to further on that, maybe Melissa can jump in too, but basically what we're asking in the report right now is that we approve the project and the monies for the project, and then next year we will ask for or look for approval on where that money can come from. So the dollar amount we're approving right now and where it comes from in 2023 will be approved at a later date as to whether or not it's taken from a reserve or a loan or another area. But the monies itself would be approved today. Just we were worried about that lame duck and worried about whether or not we would be able to move forward with the project. So that's the request for today.
Yeah, and I think the important thing is that our financial stewardship has Algonquin Highlands in good shape. Our reserves are healthy, and staff and council have historically done a good job of making the pieces of the puzzle fit together when needed. So I don't have any problems with this approach. I concur that it's disappointing that all the concessions seem to be on our part, and that appreciate the effort. I was hoping we'd have a lot more than 74, but you never know until you sit down and talk to folks, and their costs are real as well. So everybody's seeing increased costs, and it gets passed along down the line. That's a reality. And the nice part is for the scale section, I think it's just the scales is the modernization money, right? Yeah, so that's not something that's being borne by taxpayers as well. So another bonus there, piece of good news. Thoughts from you, Councillor Shortreed, on this proposal?
All my questions have been answered, and I agree it needs to be done as soon as possible.
Okay, and we do know the dates are critical now. So I did circle the dates as well. We know and fully acknowledge. I've said to people a number of times that the intent of the Maple Lake Operations Center is to be more efficient and more user-friendly, and we fully acknowledge that right now it is neither. And so that's the dates there are critical to keep this project moving to, if we can, alleviate some of the angst around that, because that's a big problem out there. Okay, so I'm hearing concurrence, and I think we have any further questions or concerns,
No.
comments, thoughts? Okay, go ahead.
Moved by Counselor Shortreed, seconded by Deputy Mayor Danielson. Be it resolved, Council receives report PW 3322 regarding Maple Lake Disposal Site Operations Center construction submitted by Melissa Murray and dated August 18th, 2022. The council concurs with the recommendation of staff and approves a contract to Weir Gradall for construction of the Maple Lake Waste Disposal Site Operations Center at a cost of $880,402 plus applicable tax, and that council hereby directs a bylaw be tabled authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute an agreement for services with Weir Gradall, and that council concurs with the recommendation of staff and approves the provisions of 110,000 liters of fuel and utilization of the township's resources to complete chipping, supply of aggregate for A gravel, complete service treatment, and provide seeding at an estimated cost of $268,500 plus applicable tax. And the council approves the total estimated project cost of $1,148,902 plus applicable taxes.
All in favor? That's carried. Go ahead.
Moved by Counselor Shortreed, seconded by Deputy Mayor Danielson. Be it resolved that bylaw 2022-87 being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute an agreement between the corporation of the Township of Algonquin Highlands and Weir Gradall Limited for construction of the Maple Lake Waste Disposal Site Operations Center be received and read a first time, considered read a second and third time, and finally passed with the corporate seal affixed.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And thank you both for your work on this and continuing to be attentive to the challenges we're facing. So thanks very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Times they are a changing. Do we tack this little piece on because it was time sensitive?
Time sensitive, and it came in time.
Yep.
Notice.
So it's a letter of significance request similarly to what we've done before. Any questions, concerns, thoughts? Yes, ma'am.
No concerns with supporting the event. It just seems unfortunate that every time they want to do something, we've got to declare it a significant event, which, you know, in my mind, it's a great event. How significant is it? I know that it's kind of semantics, but it's too bad that they have to continue to go through this process.
Yeah, and municipalities across the board have said the same thing is we know what happened in the days of just helping good folks do good things for good reasons. And
Don't
now
get a liquor license, you know?
yeah, that's what we have. Anybody else want to complain? No, but you're absolutely right. But it is what it is, and at least we can help them out and get that event, keep that event going. So carry on if you'd like.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Danielson, second by Counselor Shortreed. Be it resolved, council receives correspondence from Alicia Dudesky, General Manager from Old Mill Marina, requesting council's consideration to deem their September 3rd, 2022 event an event of municipal significance to meet the requirements of the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, AGCO, in order to apply for a special event liquor license. And the council declares Old Mill Marina's event to be held on September 3rd, 2022 of municipal significance for the purpose of the AGCO liquor license requirements.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Confirmatory bylaw.
Moved by Counselor Shortreed, seconded by Deputy Mayor Danielson. Be it resolved that bylaw 2022-88 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council held during its August 18th, 2022 special meeting be received and read a first time, considered read a second and third time, and finally passed with the corporate seal affixed.
All in favor? That's carried. And adjournment.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Danielson, second by Counselor Shortreed. Be it resolved that the special meeting adjourn at 2:13 p.m.
All in favor? It's carried. Well, that was short. I don't think it's a record, but we are adjourned.